The results of the 2022 Pisa study were worrying, and the heterogeneous student body poses enormous challenges for the school system and teachers. In addition, the effects of the pandemic-related restrictions and school closures continue to be felt. The latest available data dates back to 2022 and shows a clear downtrend. The educational system is problematic in many respects, from outdated equipment and a lack of teachers to structural inequality of opportunity. What does Pisa actually measure? Pisa is an international comparative study conducted by the OECD. Every 3 years, it tests how well 15-year-olds in different countries perform in reading, mathematics, and science. 3 central problems. 1. Enormous inequality of opportunity. In hardly any other OECD country does educational success depend as much on social background as in Germany. Children from affluent academic households perform significantly better than children from educational disadvantaged families or from immigrant backgrounds. Although around 50% of 18-year-olds complete their A-level today, compared to 5% in 1965, opportunities are unevenly distributed. 70% of children from well-off families go to grammar school, while the figure is significantly lower for children from disadvantaged backgrounds. This is despite the fact that they have the same cognitive abilities. 2. Low interest in STEM subjects. Mathematics, computer science, natural sciences, and technology are central to the future of the working world. But many pupils in Germany consider this subject irrelevant or unattractive. Girls in particular show little interest in IT. This is also due to the fact it feels like the equipment is still from the 1990s. The result? A shortage of skilled workers and hardly any young talent in essential areas of the future. This has been apparent on the labor market for years now. 3. Lack of investment and wrong priorities. In terms of GDP, Germany invests 4.6%, more than the EU average, 4.5%, but coming from decades of underinvestment. Many countries spend significantly more, often with better results. But even more money alone would not be a solution. What is more important is what the money is used for. Studies show that investments achieve more in poor countries. In rich countries, like Germany, it's the targeted use of the funds that counts. Why is the system the way it is? The basic structure of the German school system is almost 100 years old. After elementary school, there is a division into 3 different schools: Hauptschule, Realschule, and Gymnasium. A model with no scientific basis that was created after the First World War and was intended to reproduce social classes. A central problem: early selection after the 4th grade. Apart from Austria, Germany is the only country in the world where the direction of education is decided so early. Studies show that this increases inequality. Weaker pupils are left behind, while stronger ones hardly benefit at all. The future needs new skills. Countries such as Finland are already focusing on interdisciplinary teaching and phenomena. For example, to understand and solve a question about climate change, knowledge from different subjects such as science, geography, mathematics, and history may be needed. Teachers, especially in subject areas such as minors. Many teachers want to continue their training, but there's a lack of time, money, and suitable courses. In Finland, lifelong learning is part of the professional culture. Teachers there are not only well trained, but also highly respected. Broken schools, faltering reforms. Reforms are taking place, sometimes even at a hectic pace, such as the G7 experiment, in which an attempt was made to save one school year. However, many of these measures are not scientifically sound and are more for political symbolism than actually improvement. Of course, the Pisa results should also be critically scrutinized, because if it is clear what is being measured, there is a danger that the entire education system will be geared towards this. Education should be much more than just good results in standardized tests, without getting lost in unrealistic ideas of individual self-realization. Education must promote people in their entirety. Although countries such as South Korea and Japan perform excellently in Pisa, many pupils there suffer from extreme pressure to perform. Depression and even suicidal tendencies are not uncommon. School dominates the whole of life there. That should not be a role model. That might sound obvious. At least things are better in Germany. Here, pupils have comparatively little homework and more free time. They also have room to develop outside of school, but despite the better balance, things are not looking good overall. Outdated teaching methods, school buildings in a state of despair, and an educational system that simply leaves many children behind. These are problems that do not require an international comparison to be identified. They clearly show that things are going wrong. Ultimately, with or without Pisa, it is about making our education fit for the future. Education is an enormous benefit for each individual and for society as a whole. Educated people are more likely to find work, earn more, live healthier lives, and get more involved in politics and voluntary work. Education stabilizes and strengthens our society, and this also benefits the state when people are able to contribute to the community later on. The bitterest thing is how much Germany is standing in its own way. As in so many areas, we are faced with deadlocked bureaucratic structures and a political unwillingness to really tackle things.